2017 has just been exhausting, Raul.
Rough. It has been rough. It has been so rough. You know that psychologists and therapists and that community, they have a term for it. PTSD, President Trump's stress syndrome, Trump's stress disorder. Because so many people feel the anxiety, this sense of like what's going to happen next, this sense of all of our democratic norms being challenged, if not demolished, and the sense of like, you mentioned in the lead in this, he had a dark vision for the country. We are moving, unfortunately, in many ways, it often seems like we're moving towards that dark vision. And this uncertainty and anxiety for people, it's scary. So the good thing I see out of it is that people are reaching out and connecting, finding a safe haven in some type of, in intersectionality with people who are like-minded, and there's the strength to go forward and be optimistic.
Yeah, I find my safety in Instagram. There's a poll from October 2017, CBS News poll. People of different political views, can they come together? 51% are pessimistic, 47% optimistic. Anousheh, are you pessimistic or optimistic?
I'm pessimistic, but trying to be optimistic. I actually follow Emergency Kittens on Twitter, which I highly recommend that viewer to follow, because whenever things get too stressful, just go over to the timeline of Emergency Kittens. No, I think that 27 started out rough because, I mean, first of all, for me, as a lifelong feminist, I didn't get out of bed for a good 3 days. I can't believe I'm admitting this. I was listening to, Wind Beneath My Wings and Hallelujah, because 2017 started with Donald Trump beating Hillary Clinton, and the fact that, he could have had aid from a certain foreign government. So I feel like we never really got to get over the election of Donald Trump and understand the election of Donald Trump. So we're going to need some deep therapy in 2018. But I also think we're ready for it, because the irony is as much as he attacks the press and as much as he attacks journalists, we are actually the ones with the power to hold him accountable. So we need to rest up and continue fighting in 2018.
So, Karine, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Are you pessimistic or optimistic about 2018?
I got to tell you, Jonathan, in January 20th of this year, when I heard that awful carnage speech by Donald Trump, I was incredibly pessimistic. I was like, oh my gosh, the world is literally going to end this year. And then the next day, 24 hours later, there was the Women's March. And it was incredibly inspiring. We were all here, but, 500,000 people showed up, and with the pink hats. And it was amazing, because I did not expect that. Most of us did not expect that type of camaraderie movement, people coming together in that moment. And then it moved to the Muslim ban, where you had people come out in the airports, and that was very organic. Spontaneous. It was amazing. And then you had the healthcare fight to stop the repeal of healthcare. That was amazing. The town halls and the disability community literally putting their bodies on the line at the Hill and fighting that. And there were these wonderful moments that made me realize, okay, there is room to be optimistic here. And I think even though the GOP tax bill plan got passed, I think we still ending this year with some really wonderful kind of glimpse of what 2018 could look like. I mean, and we have to, we have to continue to remember. He reminds us. He likes to. He thrives.
He reminds us.
He reminds us every day.
Daily basis.
He thrives in hate and divisiveness and just pitting people against each other. And so we just have to continue to fight back in 2018.
Well, let's go. Speaking of hate and divisiveness, there was a poll from August, the CBS News poll on racial divisions, and in it, it was Trump's policies encourage racial division rather than unity. 44% said yes, 12% said no, 39% said neither. Raul, are we going to... Two questions. The racial division in this country, do you see more of an exacerbation of that rift in 2018, one? And two, the level of outrage, as Karine just walked us through. There was January 21st, the Women's March. Then the next week came the Muslim ban. And then the next week it was like the March for Science. And we've been seeing lots of expressions of outrage throughout 2017. Can that level of outrage be sustained long enough to get people into voting booths in 2018
You know what?
in November?
On this one, I am with Karine. I share her optimism. When we talk about this, the racialization that we have seen, under the Trump administration, my take is that it is coming from his base. Because remember, he is not the president of the United States of America. He is the president of his base. He has made no attempt to reach out to other people. So all of this churn we're seeing, whether we're talking about Charlottesville or the ugliness of the immigration debate, it's coming from that vocal minority. What gives me optimism is now when you go to something like, say, a women's march or an immigration march, you see all kinds of people. You see the people who are, there for climate change. You see people there who are against the pipeline. So we do see a lot of, of a new coalition forming. And I think going ahead, that's the key to staying strong, is this notion of solidarity. I think people right now, as disheartening as the last year in many ways has been, people are feeling empowered because those marches have meant something. They have validated people's sense of being under siege and made people realize that in unity there is power and that change is coming.
In the less than a minute that we have left, we can't run the soundbite from Morning Joe from Friday that I wanted to run, but there was a suggestion that people should go home today and think about who is someone in your life that you could persuade, whatever side of this you're on, that you could actually reach out, maybe someone you defriended this year. The whole point is to we've got to mend these rifts within the American body politic. Do you think that is possible? And really quickly, just yes or no answers. Raul, is it possible to mend the whatever it is that separate us? What am I looking for?
No. I feel with the Trump supporters, leave them be. They will come around.
Karine.
That's a tough one. I think we're in a place where we're so divided that it's just, Donald Trump has taken us there. But I'll say this, majority of Americans voted against Donald Trump and are continuing to step up against him.
Anousheh.
I think yes, but it's going to be a little difficult when we have a sexual assaulter in chief constantly dividing the people.